Major General Jose Reyes is the head of the Puerto Rico National Guard, but he is, as of yesterday, also overseeing the Emergency Management Office at the request of the governor. The Major General joins us now from Puerto Rico. Can you get us up to date, sir, on where things stand as of right now? The governor just said that she has ordered those warehouses in Guaynabo and Ponce to be emptied, and for all of the aid that is still available to be given out. What is the status of that?
David, early this morning, around 6 o'clock in the morning, we mobilized personnel from the Puerto Rico National Guard with a direct order to conduct a full inventory of both warehouses. We need to segregate the equipment and the things that we have out there, the commodities, to make sure that if they are outdated, we are segregating that and proceed as directed to get that equipment out. But the things that we can provide to the public, we are conducting that inventory, and we will push that inventory out, especially to the 18 municipalities that were more affected by the past earthquakes.
When do you expect that to be distributed?
The directive is to conduct the inventory around the clock with the expectation of provide those committee duties within the first 24 to 72 hours to push it out.
Understood. Sir, can you tell me exactly how many warehouses exist? The governor at her press conference spoke about Guaynabo, Ponce, but I saw a report that you were quoted as saying there may be up to close to a dozen. Can you clarify that?
Well, there are 7 warehouses in Puerto Rico. 2 of them are the warehouses that we have mentioned that belong to the state. One in Ponce, one in Guaynabo. The other 5 that are located in Ponce, Calley, Ceiba, Bayamón, and Caguas, they are federal warehouses administered by FEMA.
Understood. Thank you. Can you tell me the aid that is in those warehouses that the state owns, Guaynabo and Ponce? Was that aid, and forgive me everyone, I just landed in Richmond, Virginia, so what you're hearing is the intercom here at the airport. General, can you tell me the 2 state-owned warehouses, the aid that is inside of them, where did that aid come from?
The aid, there is no inventory, David. The one thing that we realized that when the governor assigned me to the State Emergency Management Agency, I requested a copy of the inventories. So there is no inventory. So there is no way that I can tell you the precedents where those goods and commodities came from. I just know they are there. So we are conducting that full inventory. And certainly the order is to distribute that to the people in need.
General, does it appear that some of the aid has been there since Hurricane Maria or shortly thereafter?
That's the appearance. That it seems that they were probably donations. They are the washer, dryers, they are Pampers and commodities, first necessity for the people. So it seems that they might be some donations that the agency acquired after Maria, or the remaining commodities that were at the different locations after Maria closed operations.
General, why weren't those commodities distributed in the immediate aftermath of the earthquakes?
That's a good question, David. And I have to be honest with you, I don't really know why. Apparently, they were kept in secret, and the governor was always told that the commodities were distributed properly and accordingly to the contingency plan. So it was a lack of information being provided to the governor, and sometimes she was not properly informed of all these commodities being warehouses at these warehouses.
General, your men, I saw for myself, worked around the clock to get tent cities of sorts set up. And for some of the mayors, that didn't quite happen fast enough, but eventually they got there. These commodities would have helped in the immediate term. I want to ask you, sir, with your new role now overseeing the Emergency Management Agency, and for everyone watching, it is common in the states here on the mainland for the head of the National Guard to also oversee the Emergency Operations Center. So for the Major General to be doing this, it is very common in many states, just FYI. So General, with your new role, what do you plan to do differently?
And to give you the facts, David, it's being conducted in 17 states, and the position is what is called super tag. And what you do is you combine the resources that you have available at the National Guard, because you have the equipment, you have the heavy equipment, you have the logisticians, you have the operators, and then you have the Management Emergency Agency. It's a very small agency in Puerto Rico. It's only 108 personnel. So it's more of an administrative office. So we have to conduct a joint unified command to be effective. Certainly, we have to revise all the state contingency plans and plan accordingly. But immediately, we're going to take care of this emergency, make sure that we provide the commodities to the people in need, and provide the services that they need immediately to support them and help them out to go through this crisis.
Did you, sir, know the existence of these warehouses before all this went down? Did you know that they existed?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Okay.
I know very well the contingency plan of the Puerto Rico National Guard, and as you know, I was the dual status commander in charge of the DoD forces here in Puerto Rico for about 90 days after Maria. So I was well acquainted with the regional distribution points, but I didn't know the existence of these two warehouses. When I look at the contracts of these two warehouses, they were agreed after Maria. So after completing the emergency operations after Maria, it looks like the agency realized that there were some commodities left over and some donations after the Maria hurricane, and they decided to establish a contract and to warehouse these commodities in these two locations.
So the state was paying, do you know how much money they were paying monthly to house all this?
I have the contracts in front of me. I can give you the details. I believe one of the warehouses is 41,000 square feet, and the other one is 29.7 thousand square feet. I see the total of the contract, but I have to be honest with you. I don't know if it is annual or the total of the contract since 2018. One was started on June 21st, 2018, and the other one in April 2019. I can certainly provide you more details. I just see the total, but I cannot.
What is the
total for the one started in 2018, 41,000 square feet? We're talking about $622,000. That's the total amount of this contract. But I'm not sure, and I don't want to give you an estimate if it is annual or for the total of years since June 2018. The other one is 268,000 for the 29.7 thousand square feet that started in April 4, 2019.
And the smaller warehouse, is that the Ponce one or the
The smaller warehouse is the one in Guaynabo, David.
Guaynabo? Okay.
Guaynabo.
General, have you had a chance to walk inside of both the Guaynabo and the Ponce one?
No, not at all. This is the first day I'm here at the agency. So as a new head of the agency, I requested a report from each one of the directorates, personnel, budgeting, and all that. And then I went over the operations to familiarize myself with the operations of the agency. So I will go out tomorrow and personally go, but I have seen videos of the warehouse and many commodities, Pampers and milk for the kids, washer, dryers. I have seen the generators, that type of equipment and that type of commodities.
Understood. I only have a couple more questions for you. On the contract, whose name is signed? What government official signs to agree to the contract?
These two warehouses are between the management emergency, the Puerto Rico Emergency Management Agency, and it's with another state agency. I can translate it. There is an agency for commerce and exportation. That's the name of the agency, and the name was the deputy director for the agency. In this case, was Carlos Mercado from that agency, and from emergency management was Carlos Acevedo.
So I just want to make sure I'm understanding you correctly. One agency was paying another state agency more than $500,000 to rent space. Is that correct?
That's what I see in first look at the contract. I can give you more details into it. And again, I don't know, the amount that I just gave you is for the total of the 3-year contract, because I've seen that they run from 2018 to 2021. So I have to look more into the contract. The one in the one in Ponza is a 3-year contract from 2018 to 2021 for the total amount of 622. So I estimate it's somewhere about 200 plus per year, David. The other one.
So you think it's 200,000 a year?
Yes, David. That's what I seen on the cell spreadsheet that I'm looking. And the other one is from 2019 to 2021 for 268. So it's approximately 130,000 per year.
130. Okay, General. Is it odd to you that a state agency is paying $130,000 a year to another state agency to rent a building?
I have to be frank with you, David. As a U.S. Army general, we don't rent buildings from other agencies. So I'm learning as we go how the state government work, to be honest with you. I know
seems like a waste of taxpayer dollars.
A state agency that owns buildings,
right?
They usually public buildings. The relationship, the contract relationships, I'm not well acquainted of that relationship.
It almost seems like a waste of taxpayer dollars. I'm not an expert, but if the state owns the building and another state agency is going to use the building, you're making money. You're paying money to make it back to give it to yourself. I don't know. It doesn't. I gotta see if I can get some more information on that.
I certainly will look into it, David. To be frank.
Yes, sir. Is there anything else that I didn't ask you that you would like for people to know?
Well, currently the 10 cities that you saw are fully operational, and the feeling that I'm getting for the people is that we are providing all the basic needs, such as showers, laundry services, all 3 meals, and the state government agencies are providing services such as the family, the housing, because they already acquiring the necessary information based on declaration of a major disaster. So the long-term solution for relocating these families is already being worked. An inspector has to be assigned to go and personally visit the family and go with the procedures established with FEMA for the eventual relocation of these families.
I thank you for your time, General.
Thank you, Davis.